Okay, gently drifting away in the music. So that's really relaxing, isn't it? That was great. So welcome to the Zen and the New Testament, the second episode. And I'm happy that you're here, that you join in this. And so how do you join in a Zen and New Testament session? And we're going to see what that means today. So the interesting part to me always is Jesus was a Zen master, obviously. Like, what else is it than recognizing the truth of you? He gave up his so-called human identity completely. He didn't really develop any of it during his life. And he was just himself. He was just the Son of God, doing what was given him to do. Otherwise he would not do it. Maybe his daddy, Joseph, would tell him to do some woodwork or please do something. But when he was probably 8 or 9 years old, he was teaching in the synagogue. He was already sharing what came to him to share. Now, not necessarily do you need to be a teacher in the sense of speaking and teaching others or coming into some kind of dialogue with others about what you have discovered. But when you discover who you are, you're literally being brought into places, into places where you just have to be. And this is something I realize today strongly. Like, the presence is everything. Your presence is everything. You really think that you need to do something on top of that, but your presence is everything. Like, what do you need to do to be the light of the world? Just be the light of the world. Just be that. You don't have to do anything for it. And this is alien to the human mind, always trying to invent something to do. Otherwise it's like boring, or it's not having anything to do. And this is really great. So with the Zen and with Jesus would sit by himself. Jesus would go into the desert for 40 days. Well, let me see you do it. It's like, what do you have to do in the desert? Being. What else? Being present. Just being. What do you need to do if you're in the marketplace? Being. Just being. What do you need to do when you're in the synagogue? Being. Just being. What do you do when you sit in front of a camera online? Just being. Do I need to prove anything to anyone? No. Is the light doing the work? Yeah, if there's any work to be done, it will be the light doing it. It's not depending on my motives. It's not depending on my intentions. It's like totally included in my presence. Now this is really lovely. And recognizing that in Zen, we use the book, the Treasury of the True Dharma I. That's one part. We're not really using the book because then we would also use the explanations that are given. And it doesn't need an explanation in that sense. So that's why I use it in a totally different way. Because if you start to explain what Zen is, or what the teacher, what Dogen has said, if you start to come into an explanation, what are you doing? You try to implement it with words into your own construct. And that's exactly what it isn't. So you can say, like, Zen is what you are when you're not doing anything. And so this, we take a look at that today in many different ways. Basically also by being confronted with the absolute, like the total limitation of perception. And we have some beautiful examples of that really like are pretty amazing to to hear. While it's so obvious, you might not realize it when it's happening, but that's so great. So this is the time, this is the place where you can remember that where you come to the inside. Oh my God, I never saw it like that. I cannot believe that just by a simple Zen expression it is given. Let not your heart be troubled. Believe in God and believe in me. There are many lodgings in my Father's house. And if not, I would have told you, because I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go prepare a place for you, I shall come again and bring you to join me, that where I am, you shall be also. And where I'm going, you know, and you know the way. Thomas said to him, Our Lord, we do not know where you are going, and how can we know the way? And Jesus, Joshua, said to him, I am the living God, the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father, but by me alone. If you had known me, you also would have known my Father. And from this hour, you do know him, and you have seen him.
Que votre cœur ne se trouble point. Croyez en Dieu et croyez en moi. Il y a plusieurs demeures dans la maison de mon Père. Si cela n'était pas, je vous l'aurais dit. Je vais vous préparer une place. Et lorsque je m'en serai allé et que je vous aurai préparé une place, je reviendrai. Et je vous prendrai avec moi, afin que là où je suis, vous y soyez aussi. Vous savez où je vais, et vous en savez le chemin. Thomas lui dit, Seigneur, nous ne savons où tu vas. Comment pouvons-nous en savoir le chemin? Jésus lui dit, Je suis le chemin, la vérité et la vie. Nul ne vient au Père que par moi. Si vous me connaissiez, vous connaîtriez aussi mon Père. Et dès maintenant, vous le connaissez et vous l'avez vu.
Thank you so much for joining in the meditation. And see, that's the key. Meditation is the key. Becoming still. And so in the Zen and in other practices, of course, I mean, there's universality in that sense. It's like the part where you become still, and the meditation that you're doing is bringing you into quiet mind, into rest, into rejuvenation. It restores your energy, and you could say in Course in Miracles terms, like the peace of God. It's like this is the place where you actually are open to receive the peace of God, to come into the experience of that. And why is that? Because you in fact put down your identity as you know yourself. Your identity as you, as an human entity in this world, for instance, picking up certain roles to play and identifying with it, thinking that you are that and that you defend it, for instance, and that you protect yourself, still securing your place. And here in the meditation that falls apart. So that's relaxing, of course. That feels really good, because the rest, in fact, what isn't directly yours will fall away anyway. It's like, how did you come here? Like a baby, for instance, as a human baby, you come to planet Earth, you are being born, and what are you doing? Being present. Well, you learn, in the end, you learn to become something, but that's learned. It's not what already is. Now this, and what happens when you pass on? Can you take your identity with you? No, you leave everything behind. Whatever you think you have produced here, you leave that behind. So it's like that is like, as soon as you pick up your identity, you could say, you are involved in something that is not yours, that is not truly yours, that has nothing to do with your beingness in that sense. Now this is very pure Zen, because it tells you to let go of your identity, to let go of everything that isn't already. The title is very simple today, as you can see. Firewood and Ash. Now, what is so interesting about that? We're going to discover. Listen to this. Firewood, when burned, becomes ash. There's no problem with that. We can accept that idea. Firewood, when burned, becomes ash. The ash never again reverts to being firewood. That's impossible. Still, we should not regard firewood as a before and ash as an after. We must realize that firewood is in the position of firewood, with or without before and after. Ash is in the position of ash, with or without before and after. Firewood, when burned, becomes ash. This is in fact not understandable in the direct sense, like what is the reference to that, to how to look at this. Like, yeah, you can agree with the idea that if firewood burns, it becomes ash, and the ash will never be able to become firewood again. Like all the energy has been transformed into another form of energy, if you look at it energetically. But here it says, like, don't even try to connect the two. It's like firewood is firewood. That has nothing to do with ash. Ash is ash. Like whatever happened in between doesn't really matter. They have no, in that sense, they have no relationship with one another at all. Now here, this goes very far, in fact. So it is like the idea of death, for instance, like ash, would be like death. Well, death has nothing to do with life. You see this in the Course in Miracles too. It's like death has nothing to do with life. Life has nothing to do with death. Life is life. That has no opposite. And death is death. Like that is just what that is. Like life doesn't know about death. Now this is really deep, because it's like that what lives will live forever. That what does not live has never lived before. And the ashes have never been firewood before. The ashes are just ashes. Death is just death. Like whatever temporal idea you can hold about, even about your identity, like that can never have any reality. So the temporal ideas that you walk around with, the temporal ideas that you pick up and value, that you give energy to, that you really go for, to explore, to do whatever you do with it, have in fact nothing to do with life. So we divide it in life and existence. Like a human existence is the temporal state of a human identity, thinking he is what he is, until he in fact releases that idea and he discovers, I'm the light of the world, I'm the true vine, I'm alive, I'm awake, I'm the enlightened one, I'm the Buddha, I'm right here. I've always been that. And there was never any other thing. Like as soon as you come to the realization of your true essence, you will never question that you have always been that. But here, my temporal identity, that I think I am, I call it by names, I have a certain profession, or I have a certain interest, I have a certain idea, a certain political party, or who knows what. I have my things that I'm really good at. I have my talents. And so all this is in fact nothing but identity, made up identity that developed in your idea that you could be something that you're not. So that's why it falls away, that's why it crumbles, that's why at a certain point you can't do that anymore. Like even in a belief of time, you see that happen. And it doesn't stop you from picking it up. Up to the point that you start to really go for what is true about me, who is it that I truly am? Can I go to that place, so to speak? Can I go to that place and just be that? And it is like, well, you cannot do that. You're ash in that sense. You're ash. What is already. But you cannot do that. If you try to get to that, then it's like ashes trying to become firewood again. Like that's impossible. So it is being said, like Master Teacher says it too, it's this, like can a human being come to this? Can a human being awaken to the truth? And then it's like, no, of course not. That would be impossible. Like a human being cannot come to it, because ashes cannot never become firewood again. Like, no, that's impossible. So here, the whole change then, as far as there's a change, is releasing what you thought you were and recognizing what you truly are. So that is possible. Like you can awaken from the dream, you can undergo a rebirth, coming into this is who I truly am, like a recognition and knowing that is the totality of everything. Like that's literally your whole mind. So a whole mind doesn't have something else too that temporarily is there and disappears. Firewood, when burned, becomes ash. The ash never again reverts to being firewood. Still, we should not regard firewood as a before and ash as an after. Okay, so we got this now. Okay, so here this is an introduction to something I will come back to. We can no more come back to life after our death than firewood can become firewood again after having become ash. In Buddhism, therefore, it is said that life never becomes death. Life is beyond the concept of life. It says that death does not become life. Death is beyond that of death. Life and death are both only one stage of time, just like winter and spring. Likewise, we must not think that winter becomes spring, or say that spring becomes summer. Yeah, okay, so that's just a matter of expression. Okay, the haiku, we come back to that. Now here's one other perspective. When we look around our boat on the mountainless ocean, we see nothing but the circular shape of the ocean, right? You see the horizon. But this large ocean is not circular or square. Its other shapes and movements are innumerable. To fish, it is like a palace. To celestial beings, it is like a necklace. Only as far as the eye can reach does it temporarily appear circular. Only as far as the eye can reach does it temporarily appear circular. So this holds many things. When we look around our boat on the mountainless ocean, we see nothing but the circular shape of the ocean. But this large ocean is not circular or square. All right? See, this is all, yeah, of course, you can agree to this. Absolutely. To a fish, it is like a palace. To a celestial being, it is like a necklace. Only as far as the eye can reach does it temporarily appear circular. Yeah? Okay, so we have a meditation coming up. Now going back to the haiku. The haiku by Shiki. Evening moon. Plum blossoms start to fall upon the lute. Evening moon. Plum blossoms start to fall upon the lute. So the haiku. Now, here's the thing with the haiku. So you can say, like, if you try to understand it, what it says, that means that you're picking up your identity, your mental point of reference, your intellect, your understanding of things, in trying to explain what you're reading. Now, what is going to be the benefit of that? It would be the same as looking at a painting, Van Gogh painting, for instance, and ask Van Gogh, like, what is it actually that you try to express here? See, that doesn't make sense either. And of course, we have a great, say, development of intellect. In the Western world, the intellect is very much important, seems to dominate above all things. But here, in coming the other way around, you could say, coming to the essence of things, it is absolutely useless. Now, what your intellect is what I mean. Your intellect, your considerations, your trying to understand it, your action of identity, as I said, like, you're picking up your identity in order to come to meaning. Well, your identity as you see yourself wasn't made for that. It was literally a deviation of it. It was stepping out of that in order to become something that you're not. and defending it. The idea of separation, really, from the essence, from the universe. So that's, in this sense, it's not going to help you to come to what it actually says. Well, what it actually says could be revealed to you. Now, here then in our practice, whether this is New Testament or what is Zen scripture, you could say, it doesn't matter. It's the same story. It would be the same as that Jesus says, like, where I'm going, you cannot come. And so, but I will come back and pick you up to come there too. Like that literally is not understandable either. And then he says, well, you actually know where I'm going, and you actually know your Father. Now he's referring to something else. So it's like, actually, it is already accomplished. So this is very confusing for a human mind. Like, I have no idea what the intellectual mind would make of it. But that's also not interesting to take a look at. It really is more interesting to actually let something be revealed to you. It is of great benefit to meditate, to be still, to leave your concepts for what they are, leaving your value system, leaving your tendencies to try to understand things, and come to the place where you actually let something be revealed to you. It would be like walking around with your eyes covered, and then just for one moment open your eyes and look at something, and then immediately close again your eyes to have an impression of what you're seeing, but not being able to really examine it and try to logically take a look at it, like, okay, this is a flower with 6 petals and it's this and it's that color, blah blah blah. No, just an impression where you see the totality because you were eager to take a look at it. So in other words, you were alert to take a look at it. You're very much on the edge of your seat because you want to know what you see. You want to come in touch with what you see. It's basically what I'm saying. So, and then it is now something can be revealed to you. How can something be revealed to you? By letting it tell you what it is, and not you determining what it is. So it's like we have been determining flowers forever, and we gave them all names and all this. We could dissect and we could differentiate and all this. Like I've been in that study, at least partially. I've been in that study, I've seen that. But now the other way around, since my awakening, since that my eyes are opened up, I start to look at the flower and let it tell me what it is. And recognizing the absolute perfect communication it has with the universe, for instance. Like that is what is going on. That is the real deal. That is, like, if it doesn't communicate with you, it would be dead. It would be ash. But if it's alive, it communicates directly with you. And that's not a special gift or anything. No, it is very special, but it's also very universal. Every aspect of creation is in communication with you if you're open to receive that. If you are not picking up any kind of reference, any kind of idea about yourself or about what you see, but looking immediately beyond the appearances. So it's really great, really lovely. So the same then here with the koan, how to understand, how to let this koan come to you would really be to let it be revealed to you, the meaning of it. Because if it's alive, it would communicate with you, even though it is a reflection or it's a symbol of a symbol. Like it doesn't directly, it isn't directly truth, but it refers to something that has to do with your true essence. So only when you are in your true essence, you could see or know what it actually is. Needle of Seated Meditation by Gui. Essential function of Buddha after Buddha. Functioning essence of ancestor after ancestor. Knowing without touching things. Illumining without facing objects. Knowing without touching things. The knowing inherently subtle. Illumining without facing objects. The illumining inherently mysterious. The knowing inherently subtle. Ever without discriminatory thought. The illumining inherently mysterious. Ever without a hair's breadth of sign. Ever without discriminatory thought. The knowing is rare without peer. Ever without a hair's breadth of sign. The illumining comprehends without grasping. The water is clear, right through the bottom, to the bottom. A fish goes lazily along. The sky is vast, without horizon. A bird flies far, far away. So, bringing the New Testament in, and some other ideas that are coming up here, because we're talking about the ancestor, the next generation, the next one, the next Buddha. Then, yeah. So that brings up certain ideas that I like to share. Okay, here we are. Only as far as the eye can reach. We're talking here about the ocean. Only as far as the eye can reach. Now the ocean looks circular, as if it is a circular shape. That was the idea. We looked at this with the meditation. See, in John 14:7, the last sentence, if you had known me, you also would have known my Father. And from this hour, right now, you don't know him and you have seen him. Simeon Caiaphas said to Jesus, "Our Lord, where are you going?" And Jeshua answered and said to him, "Where I go, you cannot now not come after me, but at the end you shall come." Now it seems like there's a future, there's another moment that someone or something is going to be picked up. Like, I will come back. At the end you shall come. Where I go, you cannot come after me. It's not possible right now, but at the end you shall come. And this is the same with Jesus says, everyone will come to my Father, but through me. That seems to be like, how is that possible? We looked at this before. It's like it has nothing to do with an horizontal line, but it has to do with a vertical approach of this. Jesus standing at the end of time, and you still find yourself in time. Say, on a vertical ladder, you could say you're rising up to him, but you're not ready yet to completely enter into timelessness. So the thing is with the ash, like life and death have no overlap. They don't coexist, you could say. Like, life is life. It has nothing to do with any kind of end, or no, it's free of that. It's eternal. It's literally happening continuously, expanding itself forever. So there's nothing to do with death. And like, death is an idea. Death is an idea that you can believe exists temporarily, if you believe that there are such things as temporal ideas or such thing as time. Up to that point, that makes sense. Now here comes the idea of reincarnation too. It's like the idea of reincarnation. We look at that with the Manual for Teachers too, some other time in the Morning Miracle. But here I used it a little bit because just to, in fact, dip the toe into the idea of reincarnation. Like, what is reincarnation? Reincarnation is the idea that you have come here many times in human life, in human expression, as a woman, as a man, you've tried it all. Like, you have been here many, many times. This is a belief that we have, that you, and maybe you can even call it back into your memory, that you have memories beyond your birth, where you actually experience yourself as someone else that actually didn't make it, or something happened and now you're back into another life. Like, you had many lives and now, this is the idea of reincarnation. Now, in the Manual for Teachers, it is used too. It's like, is there such thing as reincarnation? And then Jesus is pretty clear with that. It's like, that would be the same as, is there such thing as death? Like, well, if there's only life, death does not exist. But if you believe there's such thing as a temporal existence, then death becomes very real to you, because you actually base everything on death then. That thing that you think you are will die. This body will deteriorate, will fall apart, and you will be dead. Like, that is inherent. That's literally part of the package that you believe in, the belief system. Now, reincarnation then becomes, if you believe that you are this, and that you come back, that you reincarnate, then that is part of that belief system. So in eternity, in timelessness, this becomes a really, alien idea, of course. Like, what has to reincarnate if it is eternal? That would literally be impossible. So that's out of the question that reincarnation truly exists. Like, it does not work that way. And here in a temporal existence, the closer you come to the end of time, it would make sense to say that you reincarnate all the time. Every time you find yourself here as a body, that you put your feet on the ground. You in fact incarnate into this sphere of human activity. So that is a reincarnation. Literally, you become flesh again. You can walk this earth. You can do the things that you want in this interface called the human body. So that takes care of that. So that is not so much like after a time span of 60, 70, 80 years, you start doing things again. Maybe this time as a child being born in China or who knows what. Like there are all romantic stories about it and all of this. So in the healing procedure, that's another way of looking at it. Like in the healing procedure of you recognizing what you have done before, or how many times you have come to this place, the exact same spot as you find yourself now, maybe a spot of devastation that you think like, here I am again. I'm still in pain, or I'm still doing this, or I'm still losing the ones I love, or this is still happening to me. It is so familiar to me, but it's also so exhausting. I'm so sick and tired of it. I never want to do that again. I don't want to repeat this cycle ever again. See, then you can say, like, we place it in a healing perspective, because this is your chance to dislodge yourself from the patterns or the ideas of time, because that was just a mind construct based on your identity that has also no reality at all. In eternity, you don't need it. Now this, in fact, brings us back to Zen or to Jesus saying, I'm the resurrection and the life. I'm not anything else. I'm not the son of a carpenter. I'm not going to open up my carpenting business in order to become the greatest carpenter in the world or something. No. He dropped his identity continuously. No, he had no idea where to go. He had no idea what to do. He had no idea how to do the things that he did. Like if it was up to him, it would have become a complete failure. This is the beautiful part. And it's like if you believe yourself to be something that you're not, you will fail. And there's no exception to that. This is basically the deep confrontation with any spiritual path, specifically also A Course in Miracles, or the New Testament, or the teachings of Jesus, or the teachings of Dogen, however you want to express it. It is the same stuff in that sense. It's the same confrontation. You still have to release your self-identity in order to come to know who you truly are. Let not your heart be troubled. Believe in God and believe in me. There are many lodgings in my Father's house. There are many mansions in my Father's house. And if not, I would have told you, because I go prepare a place for you. And here Dogen says, firewood, when burned, becomes ash, and the ash never again reverts to being firewood. And I put this next to one another, because it is like, believe in God and believe in me. Let not your heart be troubled. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it wasn't so, I would have told you. But I'm going to prepare a place for you. It is like that what you are cannot enter into that, where I prepare the place. But the place that I prepare is a placeless place, is a timeless place. As soon as you're ready to enter into that, you're not, you don't have, like, in fact, you're free of your limitation, free of your idea about who you are, free of the idea that you're temporal, free of the idea that you're ash and that you have to become firewood, which would be like the intention to start a spiritual journey, or to, like, I'm ash, but I want to become firewood. I'm this human being, but I want to become enlightened. See that? Yeshua said, I am the living God, the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to my Father but by me alone. And Dogen says, when we look around our boat on the mountainless ocean, we see nothing but the circular shape of the ocean. See, I'm the way, like I'm the living God, the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to my Father but by me alone. Is literally entering into that placeless place, timeless place. Like it's inevitable that you're going to enter in there. And so the expression of Dogen I placed next to it, because it is like everything has to do with how are you looking at it. If I go on the ocean with my boat, I look around, I see the horizon everywhere. It looks very much like a line, like an end, and we've been confused about that for a long time. But when I go with my boat, I sail a little bit further and further and further and further, and the horizon isn't stopping at that point. Like it just keeps opening up, being circular around me. And this circular principle is only based on the idea as far as I can see. Now this is interesting. You can also do this in a vertical way. It's like if I place a rocket here and I'm determined to go to Mars with my rocket, my SpaceX rocket, I'm absolutely full of intention to go to reach Mars or even the moon. That's difficult enough apparently. It's like if I'm directed there, what do I see? I see round planets. I see a circumference that is circular. I see everything circular. Everything becomes circular. Like the event horizon is circular. The planets are circular. They all have a circular shape. Like, of course, you have circular shapes that are put together or are clustering together, or there can be clouds and dust and all this glowing patches and who knows what. Sure. But am I going to reach Mars? And what would that be when I open up my little capsule and set my foot on Mars? What do I see? I see only the limitation of my own ideas. Like, do I really see where I'm going? Do I really see what that is? This makes sense, right? If I say it like this. Have you ever considered this? Like, that's pretty wild. We invest, like at least some of us, invest a lot of money to go to Mars, to set everything up to go to Mars. But what are you going to encounter there? Your own limitation. Whether it is on the journey to it, or whether it is entering on the planet with your feet on the ground, on the Mars ground. What do you see? Your own limitation. That's all. Does it tell you anything new? No, you know very much your limitation. Like, how could you possibly take that on as an exploration, as a new discovery? Like it isn't a new discovery to be confronted with your own limitation once more. So this is okay, insane, you could say. This is insane. Now here is one thing that comes even more close and is so much right here present. It is like, how are you looking at your brother? Only as far as the eye can see. If I see my brother, we heard this yesterday too, it's like as far as I can see my brother, I see a body that I refer to. I see a body that represents my ideas about who my brother is. Do I really see my brother? Of course not. Of course not. It has nothing to do with it. Like, the only thing I'm encountering is my own limitation. If I pick up my identity and thinking that I'm this, the only thing I can see is my own limitation. I can have great ideas about it, I can pick my favorites, and I can do whatever I want, but basically I'm just encountering my own limitation. Ashes are ashes. It's never become firewood again. Like it's never going to be firewood. Huh? The circumference, like that, what I see with my with my eyes when I sit on the ocean is a circular surrounding. We call it the horizon. And does it have a circular shape? No, of course not. Do I see it like that? Absolutely. Do I see my brother as a body? Yes, I do. Is that my brother? No, absolutely not. When I look at a flower, what do I see? Do I see the shape of the flower? Or am I coming into the communication with the whole universe by letting the flower tell me what I am? By letting, in fact, the communication taking place that is universal and complete and whole all the time. So in that sense, there are no mistakes, there are no limitations, there are no other things. Only as long as you pick up your fake identity, you could say, then you encounter those problems. And they will have the same limiting effect on you all the time. That does not stop. So the real adventure is then entering into opening your eyes, basically undergoing a rebirth in which you can see something completely different. To start with yourself, entering into a realm of knowing instead of perception is then exactly what happens. Recognizing your mind to be whole and in perfect communication with every aspect of creation. Heaven is here. There is nowhere else. Heaven is now. There is no other time. Heaven is here. There is nowhere else. Heaven is now. There is no other time. Heaven is here. There is nowhere else. Heaven is now. There is no other time. Only as far as the eye can see, Dogen says, does the ocean temporarily appear circular. Heaven is here. There is nowhere else. Heaven is now. There's no other time. So this is what we call being present. If I'm not experiencing that now, I'm nowhere. I'm nobody being nowhere. And this is a call to wake up. Like, this is all there is. Heaven is here. Heaven is now. It's all that there is. There's nothing else. You can also say like, well, then this must be included in it. And I say, yes, of course, it is included in it. It is a whole part of it. Absolutely. Great. I love it. It's great. Wow, that's so lovely. Thank you so much. So I think there was sufficient Zen training today. So let me know if there's anything I can do for you, because probably not. I'll refer back to your nothingness probably. Anyway, so thank you for your presence here. If you were present at least. Like, are you present here? Are you in heaven now? Are you literally recognizing that now is the only time? You are here. Great. Wonderful. I hope to see you. I don't know exactly how that works.